lucky, they pick up. If you're not, they won't. So I think it's just something that we've even gotten used to, even as the media as well. So truth be told, I think it's just about time that we tend to remind them of who they also promise to be able to work for. But that's just the way it is. But honestly, kudos to Manchester City. I think it's just good to acknowledge a team when they've actually played so well. And kudos to Pep Guardiola. For me, I think it would be a disservice if he actually went out now. I would actually want him to be there even 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 years at least from now, because he's just brought a different brand of football. I think Tiki-Taka will always be remembered for him, as much as it's not necessarily the origin because it's Johan Cruyff. But to be honest with you, in terms of pure football, you have to give it to him.
Absolutely. I'm sure the Manchester City fans are excited this morning. Are they also allowed to miss work today?
Yeah, there's an argument. That's a good argument. And on a somber note, this is where I actually miss. PMC will agree with me. Chipo Kawata, because he was a Man City fan, by the way. So by now he should have been, of course, gesturing to me behind the scenes, telling me, "Hey, John Mark, we won," and ramming it in my face, and would have spent a good 15 minutes just trying to move on to the next story because he would have had the picture on the screen. So remembering the greats that have gone ahead.
Absolutely.
But what makes you think? What makes you think that Arsenal fails to just get trophies? What makes you think is the spell against Arsenal?
Spell is a very interesting.
No,
you were from Zambia, so spell must enter. If it was an African thing, I would have definitely gone down that.
Yeah, but look, I think Arsenal is very good at starting, but finishing has been the challenge with Arsenal.
And I would not say it is just the players themselves, because we have had a difference in terms of players. We bought new players.
Yes.
So I don't think it's the ability of the players. I think it's a psychological thing. The moment you wear the jersey, you have this notion. I don't know if it applies everywhere, because let's say, bring it home, hey. Let's say you get into an organization and you find that maybe that organization is affiliated to maybe speaking for party B. And the moment you get there, everybody also expects you automatically. It's like you have to acclimatize. So I think it's also it's really psychological, regardless of whether you change the managers, you change the players. I think it's something that they have to really bring into consideration, because they've also brought players that won at other teams into the team, and yet they still fail to win. So it's one thing to be able to plan well and prepare and have pre-season and start well, but I think finishing is something that they have just failed to master. But
they or we have.
What's wrong?
I don't know. He's Arsenal, so I don't know why he's distancing himself right now. Say they.
They.
Very good observation.
Yeah.
Me.
Yes, let's personalize it.
You're fighting this morning.
No, honestly speaking, I think this is the season for Arsenal, if you were to ask me.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
They performed well?
No, we didn't perform well.
They've tried to be in our faces, even though we don't want them to be in our faces. Okay. There are 3 more titles that they are hoping to get a trophy from, but I just don't know. I was listening to an interview.
on the outside, what do you think?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering, because if you hear Arteta speaking before, we want to win this, it will mean a lot for our people.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it's a small cup. After all, Dixon Jerry says it's a Chibuku Cup.
FC.
Just
don't
because
even need it after all.
that's a challenge. But anyway, tough luck, and indeed, congratulations to Man City. But tough luck to Arsenal. We do hope that at least from the 3 remaining, at least get 2. At least get 2 from the 3 remaining. At least get 2. Then it will be a good way of redeeming.
Would it be realistic to say they can even get 2? Because I'm thinking Champions League, you can't win against Real Madrid. Maybe FA Cup, yes, but I think, to be realistic, even the Premier League, if Man City beat us, I don't see that happening.
Then, yes, spell indeed. Then
How do they break that spell?
at that point, then it will be a spell.
Haven't you come across people from the education sector that do well? Amamoku, Shani,
Our mock is actually it's really a mock.
But then they'll tell you the mock determines how well you perform in the final examination.
And I like the fact that you brought mock, because others will do so well in the mock and then the exact opposite. And then there'll be those who do so badly and then they wake up because they didn't do so badly. So it's neither here nor there. So I don't know. Honestly, right now I'm dumbfounded.
Indeed, but congratulations to Man City fans this morning. Let's quickly get to the weather and the money markets, and then we'll get to the newspapers. But you're good, Paul?
Awesome.
Today, the 23rd of March 2026, Monday, it's looking like this. The morning will be mainly cloudy, slightly windy and mild with isolated rain and occasional thunder. The highs in Lusaka, it's at 26 and the lows of 17. In Livingstone, the highs of 28 and the lows of 17. In Kawe, the highs of 27 and the lows of 18. Ndola, the highs of 27 and the lows of 17. In Chipata, the highs of 27 and the lows of 17. In Kasama, the highs of 23 and the lows of 16. In Mansa, the highs of 26 and the lows of 19. Chinsali, the highs of 27 and the lows of 18. In Mungu, the highs of 30 and the lows of 19. In Northwestern Province, Sulawesi, the highs of 26 and the lows of 17. The afternoon will be mainly cloudy and warm with isolated rain and thunderstorms. And the evening will be mainly cloudy, slightly windy and warm to mild with isolated rain and occasional thunder. That is how the weather is looking like in most places this particular morning. Let's see how the rates fared as of the close of business on Friday. Business day will get to open this morning. The United States dollar was buying at 19 kwacha 52 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 57 ngwe. The Great British Pound buying at 26 kwacha 4 ngwe and selling at 26 kwacha 12 ngwe. The Euro buying at 22 kwacha 52 ngwe and getting to sell at 22 kwacha 58 ngwe. The South African Rand buying at 1 kwacha 14 ngwe and getting to sell at 1 kwacha 15 ngwe. Now that these rates are indicative and of course may vary from bank to bank. As we head to business day this morning, these are your rates courtesy of the Bank of Zambia. And as the Bank of Zambia regulation, effective 1st April 2026, odd banknotes will no longer be legal tender. Please exchange your odd banknotes at your nearest branches, your nearest banks, or deposit via a Cash Plus agent. You'll be able to do that as of the 1st of April. There will not be an extension of the odd banknotes. Do this now so you do not encounter any loss. We'll take a short break. When we do come back, a word from Airtel, and we get to check out with what's coming out from the papers.
This is Mwamba, the Deco Queen. She turns spaces from mayo to wow. She could fly to China for new products, but why pick jet lag when you've got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card? No flights, no visas, just browse, pay, done. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. Simple. Be like Mwamba. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Meet Mundia. He ditched the 9-to-5 to build his brand. And yeah, he's crushing it. With the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, he's not just buying ad space, he's building hype. He pays for ads the same way he sells most of his shoes. Online, fast, and always on. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. The Airtel Money Global Pay Card, that's what keeps it moving. Be like Mundia. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section.
Meet Suilanji. Curious, creative, always learning. New skills, global trends, she's in on it. Design or tech, she's exploring the best international options. And with the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, paying is the easy part. One quick tap and she's learning from the best. No stress, no visa, no problem. Even her parents are getting in on it. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV and expiry date, and that's it. Be like Suilanji. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
After a long day of spreadsheets, traffic, and people saying circle back, Twambo just wants to stream his favorite show. But of course, his subscription expired. Good thing he's got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card for his global subscriptions. One tap and he's back in business. No panic, no drama. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. Show back on. Subscription paid. Couch life activated. Be like Twambo. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Some kids are just a step ahead. The winning difference? A spoonful of Blue Band. The only one with the right levels of omega-3 and 6. Blue Band. A spoonful of difference.
Remember that, of course, you can brighten up your morning with, of course, Blue Band. And just a reminder that tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, consecutively or concurrently, we'll be able to have some Blue Band giveaways as we did on Thursday. So make sure that you're following through on Daybreak from the onset up until the very end. Naomi, a word from Airtel.
Absolutely. Jump on the Airtel Village Banking today, which is here to stay, making it easier, safer, and more transparent for you, your groups, to save, transact, and as well as grow your monies. Even past the Financial Literacy Week, conversations are still ongoing how best you can grow and save your monies as a group, as a family, or as an individual. And what Airtel is doing is they're not changing how your group does village banking. The power is still in your hands. All they're doing is making it digital and safer, easy as well. All you're dialing is star 115 hash, select 7, which is savings and insure, select 3, village banking. You will select 1, you will read the terms and conditions. Very easy, and you'll be able to continue from there. So save today, let's save together. Grow together. As well as winning together. Join Airtel Money Village Banking today. Any Airtel store today to find out more on how you can do this and the many other services that Airtel gets to offer. Paul.
Indeed, we get into the tabloids this morning. Of course, before we get into the tabloids, very, very sad stories we had in the news yesterday. First of all, one was issues coming in from Kalumbila. I'm sure we have seen these sad incidents where, of course, the president has actually directed the Zambia Police Service to identify, arrest, and prosecute to the full extent of the law every individual involved in the gruesome murder of a woman accused of having caused the disappearance of a man's private parts. Analyst Helen Kamutumbe, 46, was killed through public lynching in Kalumbila district on Friday. The president has described such extrajudicial violence as a heinous crime and will be treated accordingly. He says suspected offenses or misdemeanors should always be reported to law enforcement agencies rather than people taking the law into their own hands. He has stated that such actions do not reflect how the country operates. He has also extended his deepest condolences to the family and friends of the victim, stating that she deserved better and that her memory calls for justice. This is a story of a woman who was accused of having caused the disappearance of private parts of a certain man, and when this man asked for help from the members of the community, that this is the one that has caused my private parts to disappear, the public decided to descend on the woman, beating her to death. Pictures are there, and I'm glad pictures are there because the president has directed that everyone involved should face the full wrath of the law. A similar incident happened not too long ago, just last week, where it was even discovered that the man, Walem Bepe Shafi, after being paraded actually on social media, later on it was discovered that no, everyone's private parts were intact. That is what was also expected also in Kalumbila. Like, you are claiming this woman has caused the disappearance of her parts. Come. That's what education does. Huh? One of the things you find about mob justice is the level of reasoning is low. The level of reasoning is low.
But we've also seen incidents of mob justice even at the University of Zambia with the students as well. Those who are supposed to be the upcoming technocrats, the learned.
There's never been mob justice in the University of Zambia, sir. There's never been mob justice. I don't remember incident of mob justice in the University of Zambia. I remember them, being violent and going to cause havoc along Greatest Road. That is not mob justice. No, that's not the definition of mob justice.
I've spoken to some of the students. Yeah. I remember one of them was telling me there was an individual who was said to have actually stolen, and then eventually he was actually pursued, and even stones were thrown at that individual who was alleged to have stolen.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the full facts of that story. You will struggle to record incidents of mob justice in a society that has been exposed to education. You'll struggle.
And what is even appalling about this story for the act is that it appears to have been carried largely by young people,
yeah.
If you did see the images.
By young people who clearly, from the images, you can tell that exposure to education is lacking. If a person is claiming that my private parts are not there and this is the one that is causing, what normal logic will call for is for you to show us that you don't have those parts, first of all. Before, the way it is in the compounds, just be running and someone behind you shouts, "Kawalala!" Do you know what they'll do? They'll start chasing you without even asking what you've stolen. That is what I call a lack of exposure to education. You can't do that in Kablonga. Say, "Kawalala," and everyone leaves their gates and starts to chase you. No. They will find out. They will reason. Abachan. Abachan. Mampeza Kut. That is what we should expect. But in the compounds, and I've lived in the compounds before, so I know what I'm talking about. Just shout, "Hule, hule." And because you are running, sometimes you are running for safety, and that's what actually the recommendation is for safe purposes. When a mob is after you, run to the nearest police station for your safety, because the people running after you, they don't even have the time to start asking what has happened before they begin causing harm to you.
But such actions do not reflect, how the Republic of Zambia operates. What sort of information
how does the Republic of Zambia operate, Naomi?
We are law-abiding citizens, and you shouldn't have to do that. You don't have to take the law in your own hands.
No, but we've seen. I'll disagree with you, Naomi, when you say that's not how Zambia is. We've seen, violence in this country. We've seen mob justice in the compound. This is not a new story. We've seen people being bent now with tires in the compounds. This is not a new story. The reasoning behind some people is quite disappointing. Extremely disappointing. Young people, I was seeing a young lady in that video, those pictures, even laughing. Someone is being beaten to death, you are laughing. Bwana, something is wrong with the mindset. And it begins with the mind. Because it means you can't reason.
What about those individuals who maybe they're thinking about issues of citizens arrest? Maybe they want to pursue that person and simply apprehend them and then take them to the relevant
That's
authorities.
What the president was calling for. Why couldn't you take this person to the police? Because if you follow the full story, the police arrived and the police were chased. The police went. They decided to descend on the police. What kind of a society is that?
That also talks about the issue of manpower, which we have constantly talked about when it comes to the men and women in uniform.
No, sir. One police officer with a weapon is a powerful. We need to sometimes applaud the police. They just restrain themselves. If one police officer just went with one tear gas, boom, they would have all scampered.
Let's speak into our belief systems a bit, because this lady on Friday, of course, Paul was, attacked by a mob in Kalumbila district of Northwestern Province following allegations of witchcraft. Why would you believe that this woman was practicing witchcraft?
Yeah, because someone claimed that my private parts have disappeared and this is the cause. Someone made a claim, and that person really needs to really dance to the tune of the law, because they've caused the death of an individual who has no time to prove their innocence because they're dead. Unfortunately, remember the incident last week. The man that was paraded was later found to be innocent. And I've seen institutions saying, look, we need to sue everyone that was involved in his apprehension. It's a very sad state of affair. And I know issues of witchcraft, we are very superstitious. Sometimes we just see an old woman and we think, Nibamfuiti. Why bankala weka bankote? You know? We are very superstitious as Africans, unfortunately. And for me, really, it's just the level of reasoning that has been displayed by the people of Kalumbila. The chief has even closed the market. It was done at the market. Has even gone further to even close that market because of what happened. Very, very disappointing. And you see, I hope that we are learning lessons as a people.
And even speaking of lessons, what message do we also have for those onlookers, those who literally just hear that, like what you mentioned, maybe someone will just shout Kawalala, and then they're onlookers, they're going about their business, and then they join in something that they have no idea in, and then you find that at the end of the day there's a casualty. What message do they also need to also remember?
You see, if there are two sides. If truly someone has entered in my house, is a thief, I'm trying to chase them, and I shout Kawalala, I expect the people in the community to help me catch the person. I expect them to help me catch the person. So which is good. Okay? Help me catch the person, apprehend them, and let's take him to the police. Well, I'm not asking for help so that we take the law in our hands. No. It's like, God forbid, Naomi finds another woman in her husband's house. And this woman tries to run away. And she shouts, Hule! Hule! She's shouting Hule because she wants that lady to be caught. Not that she should be beaten and the law should be taken into their own hands, no. But now take them to the relevant authorities. But this one is interfering according to Cap 50 of the laws of Zambia. Marriage interference is a crime.
Why then do we take law in our hands?
It is wrong. It is lack of education. It's lack of education. My view, it's just lack of education. Why people begin to take the law into their own hands. We've seen a lot of people being caught, even in these residential areas. They are taken to the police station. In the compounds, you are lynched, Bwana. You are lynched. Killed.
Others speaking to how they don't really show that they trust that the police will be able to do the job, so they say, "Chikampeleka ku police manje zachoka." I mean, so let's handle them.
No, that's not a good reason at all to take the law into your own hands. We must be able to trust the law enforcement agencies. Trust that they will do a good job. Leave that to them. Don't begin to think for them. Sometimes we have cases. I was reading a case this morning of a man. I think we heard about a man in I think Chamba Valley or Minwood, whose dogs, killed a child. A child had gone into the yard to play with a neighbor. This man had 5 vicious dogs, and properly fenced yard, properly fenced house. But this child, the man left home around 5:50 and forgot to lock the doors. the dogs in the cage. This child goes and the dogs pounce on her to death. And the man was arrested. He's been sentenced to jail for 9 months. 9 months now imprisonment. Because of that, they're saying it's carelessness. How do you keep these vicious dogs without registering them, without locking them? You see, all these are matters that begin to introspect. Others were saying that sentence is too minimal because someone died. But we should be able to trust the reasoning of the courts. That's why we're not judges. When we're judges, we can now begin to reason like that. We should be able to trust. So even when you catch someone, no, I need bail, let's trust the law enforcement agencies. They will do their job professionally.
You had mentioned something much earlier, which I agree with, when you said that you just have to listen to the comments in the background as you are watching these videos. Then you realize that there are some individuals who really, it's like they wait for those moments of any anarchy so that they can pounce. I'm reminded that at the University of Zambia, when there was a riot, I could literally hear in the background a vehicle as it was even being stoned. One of the girls literally said, "This is what I've been waiting for." And you could see the excitement. So what message, or could we also say that there are some individuals within the community who genuinely are just violent in nature and they're just waiting for an opportunity and then they'll be able to get the next stone and pounce on that person?
Yeah, this euphoria also. Remember something about psychology. There's what is called mob psychology. Things that you cannot do as an individual, you feel empowered to do when you're in a group. Things that you cannot do. That's a concept behind peer pressure.
Is that to say that Zambians are violent?
Naturally, we have those elements.
When did we get there?
No, they're there. But it's how we control them. Everyone has the capacity to be angry. Everyone. In fact, if you can't get angry, then something is wrong with you.
So, we're not responsible for what somebody will do to us, right? But how we react.
So sometimes it's really about the mob and the psychology behind it. That mob in Kalumbila, one person I don't think could have the capacity to begin to just turn at a person. But because you are in a group, you feel encouraged. You feel supported.
And you feel like you can't be caught.
Yes, and you feel you can't be caught because to the
I saw an image of one lady and she was smiling. I think she's the one you've mentioned. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, because even the issue of the Chingola, stoning of the president, it's a mob. No sane human being can have the courage to get a stone and throw at the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. No sane person. Something must be wrong with you in your mind. To get a stone and think stoning the commander-in-chief of the armed forces is okay. No. But when you're in a mob, I think that's a challenge with. So please, let's not be influenced by the mob, by the crowd, by the people. Be able to make independent decisions. Be able to ask questions. Okay. Someone is asking in the comment section, is it true that that man who was claiming his parts were missing truly? No one is even talking about it. That's a question that every other person there should have been asking.
And now 5 have been arrested for lying about the same private parts.
Yeah. For lying, meaning woofy.
Naomi has mentioned that those in the video, you could see that a number of them are youthful. Could we say that this is something, in terms of mob justice, it's based on maybe a particular age range?
No. In the compound, you see. Never kurufie. Shout ule in the compound. Yeah? You are jogging by yourself and someone makes a mistake and say, ule! We're jogging at your You see how they will descend on you. Especially in Varachera to show us.
That's not we're going to go there.
I don't know. That's why we need to invest in education. We honestly have to invest in education. There's a lot. One of the things, when I was trying to make a choice of what to study back in the, a few years ago, one person told me something which very important. He said, look, it's not so much about the course you're going to study. There's something the 4 walls of a university does to you. It's not so much about what you're going to study. There's something the 4 walls of the university does to you. It changes your perception. It changes your thinking. That's why you find someone that does have a colleague who, is a marketing manager at one of these institutions, one of the banks, but he did forest. He did forest at University of
Like,
at
who do you know? We started together, but you're in the bank.
Yeah, at first he did forest studies at CBU, but doing a good job. There's something, and banks I think have really understood that it's not so much about the course, because if you check even the bank tellers, the majority have not done banking and finance. Majority of them are teachers, nurses that are working in the banks. There's something education does to your reasoning. And that's why if we are to destroy the issue of mob justice, because look, basic questions can be asked. Basic questions. How did you know that it is her? Even if truly your parts are missing, how did you know that it is John Mark that caused it?
I saw an interesting clip yesterday just on knowledge and how we are supposed to ask the right questions. So this woman walks in, of course, on a couple, and then she tells the husband to slap the wife. Slap your wife. What the husband did, he didn't even inquire why. The mother said that. He went ahead and slapped the wife. The lady also continued to tell the man to slap the wife. I think the husband slapped the wife about 3 times. And when the lady told the mother told the lady to slap her husband, the woman stopped and said, "Ma, why should I have to slap my husband?" And so now the mother was asking the son that, "Why did you do that? See how your wife couldn't slap you, and because you are my mother and you asked me to slap her. Why didn't your wife slap you?" And so many lessons that we could actually even pick. Just because I'm your mother, you shouldn't have to slap her.
Yeah, and you are able to have that critical thinking because you have been exposed to education. Critical thinking is what comes about. Those assignments you do, those projects you do, there's something they do to your mind.
As annoying as they can be sometimes.
There's something they do to your mind.
But does the critical thinking also apply? Because in that moment, you did not plan for that moment. It's just at gunpoint. So even the reasoning, like you mentioned, it's like something kama duka. So does the critical thinking also apply in that moment?
Yeah.
Where it's just in the heat of the moment?
Lecturers sometimes come, say, "We're writing a test today." You never told us. Every student has passed through that stage. Where someone just comes and says, "Today's a test."
Is that equivalent to the mob justice?
You at that point you have to think in the moment.
Because it's a test.
It's a test. You have to think in the moment, critically, and begin to answer. So even when things happen, you will check with you over chat. Hey, kaolala, wachoka. You have to begin to think. What have you stolen? What has he stolen? And how do you know that it is him? What if you're just running? There's a movie there's a Zambian movie production. As we wrap up on this, there's a Zambian movie, called Red Bag. I don't know if you've watched it. Very good production. One of those scenes, this guy was moving with a red bag, the same red bag from the time. He saw people behind him coming, a mob, because he had stolen the bag from somewhere else. Not in that community. Africa, imagine a different community. He saw a mob coming. He thought they're after him. He started running.
Because he had stolen.
He started running. When they reached where he was, they passed. They were chasing someone else. He thought they were chasing him. That's what he thought. We need to begin to really, really invest in critical thinking.
And even before we move on, I like this message from Cholwe Moya. I think it's brought a different angle. It says, "Hi Paul, I think some people also take advantage of such in order to loot shops and other things." The aspect of looting also, I think, is something that we also don't talk about, especially those individuals who take advantage of the moment when there's a riot, when there's a mob, and it happens maybe around a mall, or even shockingly, even the fuel tankers as well. You find that when a tanker maybe has an accident and the fuel is leaking, there are individuals who, they know the risk that this thing might actually explode, but they'll literally want to take advantage. If it's shops, they'll get the TVs, they'll get the fridges, they'll get whatever they can in the moment. What do you make of those individuals?
Yeah, people would want to take advantage of any, especially when in an area invested so much with poverty. They would want to ensure that every opportunity they have, for them, they're looking at economic gains in the moment. Some of them, we've seen this happen several times. I've lived in Chilanga most of my time. There's a place called Mapepe. That was very common. I don't know about now. Very common in the night, you're driving. The residents of Mapepe would put something on the tarmac for the trucks to slip over and have an accident.
Deliberately.
It was a known thing. Sometimes all the residents of Mapepe would have one disease, maybe diarrhea. All the residents of Mapepe, diarrhea. Why? They had, done something to the truck, fallen and ate the thing.
Oh, wow.
Common thing. That's the unfortunate part. I hope people in Mapepe have changed. I hope so. So people take advantage of that, unfortunately, and we can only advocate that there's a change in mindset. That's the best we can do. Let's change our mindset. Let's begin to have questions that we ask, genuine questions that we are asking. Ladies, men, ask genuine questions. A man comes to you, Naomi, and has been married 4 times. Ask him. Don't just say love is blind. Question him. What happened in the first marriage? Why did she leave you? Second, someone again left you. Third, someone again left you. Ask those questions. Don't fall under the cloud of I'm in love.
Oh no, the woman was a problem. 4 times?
4 times. You are the angel. The rest are the non-angels. So don't use the opposite of angel. So ask these critical questions, and maybe we can have an end to some of these issues. Very unfortunate, and like the president has said, we join him in calling for the apprehension of the perpetrators of this mob justice in Kalumbila. Otherwise, you have really disappointed us, especially that a life has been lost. And even this issue of private parts missing, I don't even know where it's coming from.
Where has this thing come from all of a sudden?
All of a sudden,
Who can even prove?
Yeah, full of money. And also, even if truly, how do you prove that? Maybe because now enzani kumya now, so ndialengesa, or enzani yangana maningi ndialengesa. How do you know?
And all of them have got the same individual who they are suspecting. I don't think that makes sense.
On witchcraft.
No, but what happened for you to point at that person and not the other? What did they do to you?
They looked at you a certain way.
Did they touch you somewhere? These are questions that are very, very hard, to answer. And that's why when they are taken to law enforcement agencies, I'm sure they failed to answer these things. We saw it last week.
Remember even just the witchcraft thing.
Yes, in the Eastern Province, where the man was changing from man to female.
I mean, if you're a judge, how do you even pass a verdict on such a thing?
That's why the Witchcraft Act, from the time it was enacted many years ago, is one of those acts that is just there but rarely used because it's very difficult to prove witchcraft. Extremely difficult to prove witchcraft. One of those things that we know it exists, but to prove it, I think.
But the president said he doesn't believe it.
That's
exists.
him. That's him. Some of us, we know it exists.
And you believe it does?
We believe it does. We cannot deny its effects.
What makes you believe?
Oh, if John Mark.
I thought we'd take the whole hour of the show
John Mark.
to explain.
Let's get to the tabloids quickly. Let's begin with Diggers this morning. We let you know some of the leading stories in today's tabloids. In the Diggers, HH orders arrest of Kalumbila mob that killed woman over missing private parts, something we're just from talking about here. Law firms aiding money laundering, according to a report. Law firms enjoy a certain privilege, where you can't check what is in the account, certain things like that. So they enjoy that, but also prone to money laundering, as this report has also indicated. Government pushes PPP reform after road failure. Remember that the Sakanya road, we had those challenges with the Copper Belt minister, who was very disappointed, especially that was done under the public-private partnership model. Now they are beginning to look at reforming how this model works, especially when the quality is being undermined. you do not have to wait until you have a bad product for you to begin to review some of these things. But maybe it created an opportunity for us to have a rethink. It's a good model, but we need to ensure that it serves the interest of the Zambians. If the interests of the Zambians are not served, then any model you may want to come up with will become a bit useless to some extent. There is no freedom of expression in Zambia, according to Chief Mabumba. Do we agree, ladies and gentlemen, that there is no freedom of expression in this country? Nami, John Mark?
I think daybreak is what? 2 hours. And we spend majority of our time speaking, so I don't know.
But also when you speak, what do the people say?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is, to some extent. I know we have laws that have come up now that also stifle what people say. How many people have been arrested over issues of, hate speech? There's a thin line between freedom of expression and hate speech, because we have a freedom of speech. So now that speech has to be categorized. Is this hate speech or it's not?
Or maybe it actually just applies to politicians.
No, not really. We've seen a number of people actually being arrested over that in breach of the Cyber Crimes Act. Not only politicians, even private individuals. So of course, because we hear more of the stories of politically exposed persons, PEPs. That's why we might think it's only politicians, but definitely private individuals equally have also fallen prey to.
So as you are speaking freely, how then do you ensure that you don't also step on someone's toes?
Maybe we should remind ourselves that where my freedoms end is where someone else's freedoms begin. I exercise my freedom of speech to the extent that I am not infringing on the rights of another individual. To the extent. If I'm going to say anything, let me say anything I want, but to the extent that it does not infringe on the rights of another individual, because that individual equally has rights. So when we say there's no freedom of speech, maybe we should be able to indicate that, look, back in the years, people had the freedom to call people anyhow, but we should not normalize that. We shouldn't normalize that. Look at the comments that were being said about Manawasa. In our days now, no one, even Sata would have been arrested in our days now. The way we would call that Manawasa had an accident, and because of the accident, the brain remained. What remained in the head was cabbage. That's hate speech, I think so. Someone truly had an accident, and they're claiming that during that, on the scene, the brain remained on the tarmac.
That's how the cabbage name
started about. What remained is the cabbage. And that's how people started calling Manawasa cabbage.
And that individual ascends to the office of the presidency.
Yes.
And yet, Sata never saw the bus.
In our time, I don't think it was alive making such a comment on a head of state.
So somehow we really did need these laws.
So to some extent, people should not, be free to just say anything about an individual. We shouldn't. So, but also, we should not also, restrict, because then, to some extent, people are afraid to speak because they don't know to what extent they will break the law.
Then which one is better? Because if people are afraid, at least they will not utter careless statements. But again, if you allow them to speak carelessly, they will pass the cabbage statements. So which one is worse?
But also, if people are not able to speak, then
where's the freedom of expression?
Freedom?
If it's like the way we have access to information law. Last week I was in Choma for the IBA workshop, and one of the things that we were being shown on the ITI are the exceptions of the ITI. Everyone in the room agreed that there are more restrictions on the ATI than opportunities. The exceptions, Buana, are a lot. You can have access to information except this, except this, except this. Everything is except. So now what then is like you've opened one door, but you're also closing it using another route. Waingira, baji, futi, bakufunya. So even the issue of the same freedom of speech, people will be afraid to speak because they don't know to what line, to what extent.
But again, I ask, which one is better? People being afraid to speak or people uttering statements carelessly?
No, people should not be afraid to speak in a democratic country. No. One of the tenets of democracy is freedom of expression. In a democratic state, you can't say what we say here in Rwanda, but you can't. That's why no one can convince me that Rwanda is a democratic country. No one.
Imagine being a journalist there.
But the things that are coming out that are nice.
Daybreak would be 30 minutes.
25.
The cause would be 25, but at least 20 minutes.
There are a lot of spanners, But that's one of the things that we should be able to enjoy in a democratic state where people should be free. Look at what Malema says in parliament.
Even from the home setup, if someone is not able to speak, not that they are happy.
Yeah. So Nzanga Chabezi because New Pokamba. So yes, John Mark.
But I think parliament is the wrong example. Because I'm listening to Biro. What did he call him?
But yes, you ask a very important question. Which one is better? Because truly some people can be careless. So that's a very important question that is very difficult to answer in terms of which one is better.
Because we need them both?
Because we need both. We need some level of order in what people say. But we also, in achieving that, should not make people afraid to talk.
And what you're saying is very true. And I also get your point to say you also need to give people an outlet.
Yeah.
Because the way people are, if you do not let them speak, have you ever met those people who say, you shouldn't gossip, you shouldn't gossip? You have not given people an opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
I've seen it in the church circles. I've seen it in the workspace. If you don't give people an opportunity to speak, they will gossip. It's almost inevitable.
Yeah. It's almost inevitable. Don't gag the people. And we should not... look, even the comments right now, you see on social media, different pages, you'll be seeing comments like, cyber. Meaning, I want to talk,
but I can't.
But I can't. And we should not take those comments lightly. Those are concerns like, look, the Bill of Rights in the Constitution of Zambia gives me the freedom of speech. But Niopo Kamba, because we're manga somewhere.
So this statement is not entirely true. There is no freedom of expression.
Not entirely true, but the freedom of expression is now being utilized with a lot of caution, which to some extent might not make people enjoy their freedoms.
Zambians will agree with me, will all agree with me that when you want to cook nshima, there's that point where you get the water and then you be able to boil it. But then there's what is also called the boiling point. And there must be an outlet, otherwise the lead will literally come out. Don't you think that the more you limit people from speaking, there comes a point where they reach a boiling point? And if at all there's a boiling point, what is the boiling point in our context?
Very good question. Joseph Daka is saying, John can survive in Rwanda, not poor.
You mean well for me.
As always.
You mean I can't survive in Rwanda? That's my namesake. How can I?
You'll probably be buddies. No.
You see, the question you're asking is similar to the way some parents think over controlling their children is good. Where you are too controlling, too many restrictions. The day that child finds an opportunity to be out is the day you realize that you are overdoing.
Haven't you even heard that such parents will raise children that are rebellious and bosamvela, and you'd wonder, like, with such strict parents?
Yeah, because a person in the developmental stages needs to have a certain leeway where they are able to do things. You know the way a child is. As parents, sometimes we let them. Like Gwila Uzibe, why Tipulesa? Then wake up here. You'll be able to correct. Fire is dangerous. Wake up. But if you're not, don't. Sazazima, why? So, issues of gagging and individuals who want to speak, they come a point where they can't hold it anymore. And at what point they explode is a mystery.
And what is the explosion? What does it look like? Is it riots? Is it maybe mob justice?
Maybe it is through elections. Maybe it is through the ballot. Maybe they speak through the ballot. Look at how, we were literally gagged in the PF regime. Gagged to a large extent. Even as a press. Gagged. How the people were not free in their own country. Police officers were afraid of the cadres, not cadres being afraid of the police. That's how it was. People found an outlet to let you know that we've been holding this pain. Where even the color of jersey to wear, even though I'm Manchester United, I'm afraid to wear it. Because you might think, one of the cautions the Electoral Commission of Zambia was cautioning us journalists, as we get to the elections at the training last week, is when you're in a group, be careful the colors. True caution. Be careful the color you use. Because some people who are violent will just see a group of 10 people in red. They'll think you are UPND. They'll see a group of 5 people in green. They'll think you are PF.
But Prime TV is branded in a particular color.
That's a good caution.
Yes.
A good caution. But look, the people in 2021 found an outlet to let the Patriotic Front government know that they were holding on to some pains which they were not able to spit out because of the conditions the government had created, where cadres would storm government buildings.
And you speak into how even past 2021, some people haven't entirely healed.
Yeah, that is. Look at, the 127 days President Hichilema spent behind bars over a motor traffic incident. Called it treason. Things can't be forgotten in a hurry, John Mark. But the people found an outlet. Say, wait, we will let you know that we are not happy with what is happening. We might not speak, but we'll let you know. And on the ballot, unprecedented, 1 million difference. Never happened in the history of this country in terms of the difference of
it's like votes. The Zambians agreed.
Yeah. The Zambians agreed at that point that, look, this is too much, in my view. The European may not like it. In my view, I don't think all the 2.8 million Zambians that voted for the UPND loved the UPND. It was more like a protest vote against the PF. Like, I'll show you that I may not like this other partner, but I'll show you that I don't want you. I would rather be with this one that I don't even like that much. Now we can relate.
Oh. That's not a good way to be with someone.
Like,
but it happens.
I'll try to survive with this one. I have seen your true colors. In my view, not everyone that voted for UPND loved the UPND. It was a protest vote against the injustice that were being done in the Patriotic Front, where a president would go on a rally and says, Ubamba muibala, aria muibala. Bwana, a government official says, Wainakasaka kandalama niaba, point to the president. Meaning money is here.
To be dished out.
To be dished out, to be eaten. No, sir. The Zambians were watching. You see, the Zambians sometimes look as if they were demona. They see these things. They're observing these things. Some of them, especially educated ones, you don't even see them comment. That's why Sata called them cowards, right? They don't even comment. They'll be watching. Time for voting, they would let you know that, we've been around and we've been seeing what's happening.
Eugene says, limiting people from speaking about what? Are you not speaking very, very freely? Just be responsible as you speak.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. There's an aspect of responsibility in speech. Quite all right, and that should be promoted. But as we promote responsible speech through the available laws, let's not allow the laws to create fear in the people. where you're doing things out of fear. You know, there's certain leaders that you don't respect, you just fear them. You don't respect them, you just fear them. Some partners who you don't respect, you just fear them. That's not the right way of leading, where people are afraid of you. You know, though, back in the days we used to call our parents Saddam Abuela, you know. Saddam Abuela, you know, Bin Laden,
the names.
You know? Those names. A parent enters the house, the children scamper.
You're seated on the chair. No, it's one thing to respect your parent, but it's another to fear them.
Yeah. So we don't want our Zambians, our people, to be speaking with fear because of the available laws. They should be speaking with a sense of responsibility, not to mwenso. There's a difference when you're speaking with a sense of responsibility and a sense of fear. There's a difference.
But doesn't the law bring a sense of responsibility if it makes you afraid of the repercussions?
No. Sense of responsibility te mwenso. Te mwenso. You're responsible knowing that you are accountable for what you say. But don't scare me with too many laws, because then I don't know which law you're even going to use against me.
But when it's easy, won't you also have the free way of just speaking anyhow?
No. There's a thin line. Go to Uganda today and see if people can speak freely. Go to Uganda. Go to Rwanda today and see if people can speak freely. Go to North Korea today if there's even social media. It has gotten that bad that no one is even aware of what's happening in the world. No one is aware. They've clamped down on these issues. Is that the extent you want us to get to know? Let's promote responsible freedom of speech.
Listen to Joseph. He says, Paul, no one can stop you to speak when you are speaking about development or developmental issues, but not insults. What do you make of that?
No one in their right sense will promote an insult. No one in their right sense will promote an insult. No. The example you've given by Jose is a wrong example. No one in their right senses will promote people to insult. It's an issue where someone is speaking, commenting on matters happening in their country, and you call it sedition. You know, look at the charge they gave Brian Mundubile. Look at the charge. Look at the circumstances. You know, I don't want to get into details because I'll open a Pandora box, which I don't want. You know, people should not be afraid to comment on what's happening in their country. No, I loved what one of our staffer here, one of our analysts, Zanji Sinkala, said on the news analysis last week. She made a very important point against what the Attorney General said, that Zambia should not be speaking about the issue of ECL. She commented on the news analysis. He says, no, it's not a crime to comment on that matter. So the Attorney General was offside, according to Zanji Sinkala, and I agree with her 100%. It's not a crime to talk about that issue. And the Attorney General, who is the legal advisor to government, sits in cabinet, should not be the one to push for something that he knows has no legal backing. It's not a crime.
According to him, he says the more we talk about it, I think the more we'll put pressure on the grieving family.
Yeah, but it's not a crime. Don't tell us not to talk about it. It's a national matter right now. That's a former head of state. So, should anyone talking about this year see, Chimbokaira? No. If you're going to insult, definitely, even without any cyber crimes insulting, that even the penal code or whatever, has provisions for that. So, let's bear that in mind, that we really want to see people share or enjoy their freedom of speech in a responsible manner. Knowing that where my freedoms end is where someone else's freedom begin. So as I express my freedom of expression, I should not infringe on another person's freedoms.
And if we compare the previous regime, the Patriotic Front regime, with the current regime, between the two, who do you feel was actually better in terms of allowing the freedom of speech Or could we say that maybe one was actually better in terms of ruling based on fear or respect?
I don't mince my words. There's very few things to compare about the PF and the UPND in terms of bad and good. I think it's like we're comparing black and white. And I'll be very frank. It's like comparing day and night. I think day is the UPND and night is the PF. if I'm going to be very, in many facets. Many facets. How do you know that a government is tolerant to divergent views? Do you know one of the major ways you know? How the media is respected. That's how you know. That's one of the, if you want to check, you go in any country, John Mark, and you want to see how tolerant that government is to divergent views, study how the media is respected, or it's treated. If that's easiest way to begin to understand what's happening in that country.
Even when the Human Rights Watch 2026 report says Zambia's rights record worsen now?
Yeah, but let's get to content. I've read the report in detail. Let's get to a bit of content. If you check, for example, and this simple way to know what's happening in the country, and that's one of the ways for me I used to know. When I'm looking at the political scenes in different countries, I look at their media. Here, we had an incident where our staffer was even chased at a press briefing by Secretary General of the PF. Say, you don't cover us, get out. Do you remember that incident, John McNabb? Get out. You don't cover us. That staffer, now is now working in government, but that reporter, Njenj. Say, get out, you don't cover us. That is how it was, how bad it was. Chasing even journalists because you don't agree with them. Closing down. How many media houses were closed down? I don't want to go into that path. But it is just simple ways to let you know. Simple ways to let you know that things are better in many facets. I'm not shy to indicate that. In many facets compared to where we are coming from. I was privileged to participate fully in the run-up to 2021 general elections as a journalist. Fully. And I can tell you first-hand information on how we struggled as a media. If the media is struggling, sir, it's an indicator that even the people we speak for are struggling. And if you're going to compare the two, John Mark, you realize that there are many areas of improvement under this administration we must speak to. But I think there are many more scores that we can speak about. My colleague in the fraternity who I worked with at some point, many Zambians know him. He was asked to give a vote of thanks at the last training, IP, Los Empire. And one of the things IP said, and I agree with him, and even as he was going, I told him, don't make a speech because he speaks a lot. He says, we appreciate how you respect us as a media. We appreciate how you respect us as a media. Talking to IBA. How that none of us has been closed. Because where we're coming from, a number of them were closed. Including this one.
Taking people back.
Including this one.
Is better good?
Things are better. We're going to be very honest. That is not to say the UPND is perfect. There are many areas, but things, in many, many facets, things are better. The state of the economy is way, way better compared to where we're coming from. Many. The freedoms. You see, I heard a politician make a very sad comment. Says it's better timenyana but tinavakudya than tinavakudya than tinanjala. You have peaceful but nanjala. It's better to enjoy violence. We're in violence but we have a lot of food. That reasoning is very sick.
As disturbing as that is and sick, that is how most Zambians sometimes would react even, with our social examples, you'd hear some women speaking to Beta olobani menya, but sinigona nanjala. Beta is cheating on me, but I'm in a beautiful home. I'm also driving wonderful cars. People's mindsets are like that.
The scriptures provide very good guidance on most of these things. It says it is better to be at the rooftop, to go and sleep at the rooftop, than to be with a quarrelsome woman. That's the Bible. That's a Bible. It is better, John Mark, that Ugona Pam Pam
is doubting it. She's saying it's not in the Bible.
She's doubting.
No, well,
it is better you are sleeping at the rooftop, according to the Bible, than being with a quarrelsome woman. Because with a quarrelsome woman, John Mark,
you're still with the quarrelsome women. So meaning you don't even follow scripture after all. Well, most men are actually with quarrelsome women.
I'm not with a quarrelsome woman. I don't know what you mean. Are you a quarrelsome woman?
DMC, are you with a quarrelsome woman?
Are you a quarrelsome woman?
Oh, well, no.
So we cannot. And you see, the challenge, like, the Bembas will say, Umwa no shenda, atasha ni no kunaya. If you don't travel, you will not appreciate how conflict affects you as an individual. Go in conflict-torn areas. You appreciate the peace that you enjoy. You appreciate people are being displaced. The little investment you've put gone because of conflict. And someone has the audacity to speak on a public forum that violence with food is better than peace without food. It got me worried that this is coming from people that aspire to lead this country, where they think violence is better. They don't understand that with violence, the little investment you've put can go in a second. They don't understand that aspect.
And if you're having a violent environment, are you even going to have the appetite to eat?
No, not at all. Not at all, John Mark. But that is what some people think. But look at the peace we are enjoying. We should never take this for granted.
Could we say that based on that statement, there are some individuals who actually benefit or thrive when there's an environment of violence?
The perpetrators, the kings, enjoy it. They are protected. They have the means to protect themselves. So the perpetrator is like the way pyramid schemes work. Do you know that pyramid schemes work only for the originators? They'll tell you, recruit 3 people, recruit 5 people, recruit. The ones that started Pamulubadia, they're the ones that enjoy. So pyramids work. Those pyramid schemes, they work. Those Ponzi schemes, they work only for the people Pamulu. It's the same thing. The perpetrators of violence themselves are well protected. Look at the violence. Look at what's happening, for example, Iran, Israel, and the US. You think Donald Trump is not protected right now? You think Netanyahu in Israel is not protected right now? There's massive protection. There were rumors last week that he was killed. I laughed. So you don't know how these things work. But the people that are being affected are the ordinary citizens in Israel, in Iran, and the US. Ordinary citizens.
And we keep reminding the public that you will never see a politician's child in the forefront of a riot.
Yeah.
They will be somewhere, they will be flown out whenever there's violence in the country. Even just look at the education sector. You find that, look at the schools that they go to. People will tell you, yes, they're going to the government schools and whatnot. Just do due diligence. You'll find out.
Exactly. So these are some of the things that we must remind the politicians that no, we have made 10 steps forward when it comes to ensuring that our environment is peaceful. No one is grabbing your property anyhow. We had cadres who just said, I like this land. It's mine from today. And you could not go anywhere. They just admire the land. Inaikonda, Nzai Gurisa. No Nyanga. No, from today, it's mine. Go anywhere. And truly,
where are those cadres today?
Oh, they are now working. Because the president has been saying no Tantameni. They are now working. They are now forced to work. Remember how they used to have been crying to even Lusoniso, to Honorable Maliteta, asking that they want opportunities, and they've been told, go and apply for CDF, go and apply for these loans, go and work. That is how a responsible government ought to operate, where we encourage work. Anything you get without following the due process, you either picked it or stole it.
Even when somebody said that Zambians are lazy.
Yeah, that aspect of laziness is what the UPND administration is trying to fight, where people got used to just going to the secretariat, and because you've gone to the secretariat in Lumumba, then you get a 5 pin, you get a 10 pin just for going there. You know that journalists would go to a press briefing. If there's a minister addressing a presser and the SG addressing a presser, journalists would prefer going to the SG. Why? There was proper money. Sorry, journalists. But there was proper money. It was Blalizo, proper.
Do you think that all of those individuals who took the place or the responsibility, be it the badge indirectly of the Lusaka City Council or the Ministry of Lands, where they were busy getting pieces of land, do you think that all of them have genuinely faced the wrath of the law? Those who were responsible for inciting even violence and inflicting wounds on people at Kamgodi right here in Lusaka, do you think that all of them have genuinely faced the wrath of the law?
I don't think it's everyone, because maybe others have tried to transform, others have hidden, in their own cocoons, so it's a bit tricky to put everyone to book. But what has happened is that there is a message being preached by the head of state that will not be tolerated. Not to say those pockets are not there. Those pockets we've reported on them. They are there, but not to the extent where we're coming from. They are not at that level. That's stage 1, stage 2. It counts as what stages, eh?
Yes, it has stages.
Yeah.
What's the final stage?
I don't know.
Stage 4.
Stage 4 is the final stage. I think the PF were at reached stage 4 of violence.
What stage are we at now?
I think now we're back to maybe stage 1.
Okay.
I think so. We've made some good progress, and it would be very unfair, John McNaomi, not to commend President Ichilema on this. To be very unfair, because that is what we want of a president that will ask you to work, not to come and tantama. No, you must be able, what principles are, things that you can repeat. If you want 10,000 kwacha today, work, you'll be paid. So that even when you want 10,000 kwacha next week, you know what to do. That's a beauty. That's a principle of work. The president was even saying over the weekend that, look, entrepreneurship is not a sin. You want the president to speak like that. John Mark, did you ever hear the previous president speak like that? Promoting entrepreneurship. Where did you see him promoting entrepreneurship? Not to say bad about the former president, but look, we must call a spade a spade. When something is good, it is good. You want to have a leader who shows you the right path to take. But even when he's not there, you are able to remember his example.
But not everybody is coached to go into the entrepreneurship way.
Definitely. But not everyone equally is called to be employed. So, what the president is showing is the different alternatives. This January, where was he? At his farm. He says, according to his post, he says, side hustle, it's my side hustle.
Which doesn't actually look like a farm.
Looks like what?
Take me to the farm.
Yeah.
Farm would agree to go to.
I'm not going to spotting, but I don't know why.
Is calling you on set?
But look, very key that right now we have a head of state, we have a leader that is able to provide some confidence to the people. For me, I think it's something that we must applaud. We'll continue with the tabloids after this short break.
This is Mwamba, the Deco Queen. She turns spaces from Mayo. To wow! She could fly to China for new products, but why pick jet lag when you've got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card? No flights, no visas, just browse, pay, done. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. Simple. Be like Mwamba. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Meet Mundia. He ditched the 9 to 5 to build his brand. And yeah, he's crushing it. With the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, he's not just buying ad space, he's building hype. He pays for ads the same way he sells most of his shoes. Online, fast, and always on. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. The Airtel Money Global Pay Card, that's what keeps it moving. Be like Mundia. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section.
Meet Suilanji. Curious, creative, always learning. New skills, global trends. He's in on it.
Spreadsheets, traffic, and people saying circle back. Twambo just wants to stream his favorite show. But of course, his subscription expired. Good thing he's got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card for his global subscriptions. One tap and he's back in business. No panic, no drama. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. Show back on. Subscription paid. Couch life activated. Be like Twambo. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Some kids are just a step ahead. The winning difference? A spoonful of Blue Band. The only one with the right levels of omega-3 and 6. Blue Band, a spoonful of difference.
We'll be able to get to Jeremiah very, very shortly and just spice it up with some sports. So much has happened over the weekend and so much is yet to happen. And I know that we're getting into an international break, but very quickly, just to look into two papers before we wrap up.
Indeed. Let's get to the Daily Nation. In the leading story, let's unite, it's time to heal. According to Makebi Zulu, he has indicated that time has come for the Patriotic Front factions to unite after 4 years of state-sponsored division and wrangles. Says Zambia needs healing and that citizens cannot continue to cause more pain against each other. Well, over the weekend, Makebi managed to beat, sorry if directors, maybe when you have the time, when you manage, we're able to show you how the results went actually over the weekend in terms of who won the presidency. We had Makebi Zulu getting 49.2% against closest rival Chitalu Chilufya, who got 34.1%, and the acting president got a distant third. I don't know about thirds. It's like third. It has to be a distant third. Acting president got a distant third of 8.7%, given the win. And the rest, Imbwidi got 1.4%. Many have described this election, first of all, to be, a bit illegal, including Mao Sampa. Mao Sampa is very known to be, in my view, Mao Sampa has brought more harm than good to the PF. In my view, he has brought more harm. He's been a very inconsistent politician. If you're going to count inconsistent politicians, in my view, one of the people you should put on the list is Mao Sampa. when his uncle died, Michael Sad. He wanted the presidency. He didn't get it. He went to form his own party. Very inconsistent. Left, went to UPND. Left, came back as mayor. Very inconsistent. Came back, but you see what happened in 2023. You saw what happened in 2023. Caused further confusion. He's been the architect. It's like when you're talking about confusion. Miles Wadasampa is one of them.
Now he says no convention has been held by the Patriotic Front. Mr. Sampa says the party will only hold a convention once the court order is discharged, looking to hearing how, that will also go.
I think let's give it to them that they had a convention. Makebi Zulu is the president of the PF right now, according to the results, and every other person that participated has considered defeat. Given Lubinda, Chitaro Chilofia, they've considered, defeat and congratulated Makebi Zulu. Wherever I came from to come and win the presidency, that luck is very, very, important. Huh?
Did you see him getting this one?
No one saw this coming. No one saw Makebi coming to be the president of the PF, really. But there's something I stated earlier. He has the support of the top guns in the PF. The Somalis, the Nkandulu Wars, the Jinka Patas. That is something that, you don't take for granted. You tell the strength of a leader by the people surrounding him. That is something. But we can only, wish him the best and see how far this will go and how they will be able to unite within the party. In my submission, and I repeat, if Makebi humbles himself, if Makebi controls his pride, if Makebi Zulu manages his ego, depending on what English in grade 1, ego or ego, if Makebi manages that and agrees to be running mate to Brian Mundubili, you can then state as a Zambian that we have a formidable opposition that can make the UPND run for their money.
History is a certainty based on past experiences. I like to say that. And from the past, Paul, even when the UPND and the PF were almost uniting, it's on who, on agreeance, really. They didn't agree. Can we see that now?
Very difficult to achieve. Very difficult, because we know how selfish politicians are. And the challenge also is the people surrounding them. They lie to them that you are very popular. On your own, you can do it. That's a challenge. The way some, young ministers in churches, when they preach a message given to them by a pastor and everyone is clapping for them, they begin to take this in their head. Nina Mzozo.
And they break away.
They break away and form their own church. Then they realize that, Kashi Mzozo, what is using another church? That is the challenge with some politicians, where they feel that I'm very popular. I don't think Makebi is that popular to upset the results. I don't think so. I think Mundubile is. And that's why if those two, because what will happen if those two came together? That would be a rebirth of the Patriotic Front. It will be proper plan B of the PF.
But then now the party will have to wait until the scheduled 27 March Kawe High Court ruling for them to apply for changes of office bearers at the Register of Societies.
Which I don't see happening before the 13th of August. So what Mundubile has done is going a step ahead of the courts, thinking ahead, where it doesn't see this happening. So let me go to FDD. Let me stand on FDD. I'm PF. Everyone knows I'm PF. But it's an umbrella I'm using. Just a tool I'm using. But I'm PF. So if Makebi also, because Makebi also has a following, Makebi with his PF people join hands, just swallow a bit of pride. Very difficult challenge for politicians, because pride and politicians are synonymous. The majority of them don't listen to advice. If they did, we would have a good country today. If they did. It would have started with KK. You would have heard the advice that 27 years is too much for you to be president. Left to KK alone, he would have ruled us to his death. Left to KK alone, he would have ruled us to his death. Left to FDJ alone, Frederick Chiluba, he would have ruled us to his death. It's the laws that just help. Without the laws, that's why we must be very careful when politicians are changing the laws the way they feel. Remember, Chiluba tried to amend the laws so that he increases his term to 3rd term. When a politician is playing around with the constitution, please, let's be vigilant. That's the only document that controls them. But if they get to a point where they begin to control the constitution, be afraid. What has happened to Idi, Emerson Mnangagwa in Zimbabwe? Removed term limits. That is what happens when you allow a politician to control a document that's supposed to control him. Meaning, there's no one to control him at all. That's the only document that at least puts politicians to check. So we should be very careful when a politician seems to have an upper hand over the constitution. It means he's a man and woman of himself, can do anything at will. That is what happened in 1978 when KK changed the laws, removed multipartism, brought in one-party state in 1978. He enjoyed it until 1991 when we amended the law. So from 1978 to 1991, KK had the legal backing to be the only candidate. The constitution was amended to suit his desire. So when a politician begins to tune the document to his desire, we must be worried. These are the stories in the papers this morning. Now, I wanted to say something.
Just before we move on this, why do you feel Mr. Luwinda got 8.7? He lost the PF presidency. I mean, this is a man who's been at the helm.
Very, good question, Naomi. Every other person would expect the acting president to have an upper hand. But I think he doesn't have really the personality of one to manage the country. Or the party. He seems to be more of a disciplinarian. You know what I would suggest if I was to give consultancy to this grouping in closing? Remember there are about 3 groups right now. There's a group that supported Given Luwinda. There's a group that supported Makebi. There's a group that supports Mundubide. In my view, if you want to just bring one house together, free consultancy, have Brian Mundubide as presidential candidate. Have Makebi as running mate. Have Given Luwinda as SG. He's more of a disciplinarian. And I think it does that job better. Have those 3 in those line like that. The UPND will fail to sleep. If you can do that. The UPND. They might not admit it. They might not admit it at all. But they will fail to sleep.
Can it be done is the question.
Knowing politicians, John Mark, I'm sure you know.
We only hope that maybe they could be able to harmonize, because to be honest with you, we can all benefit from a united opposition in a sense, because democracy thrives in such an environment. We'll go to, of course, the story by, of course, David Wope in regards to the election of Makebi Zulu as PF president during the, of course, no-name general conference held over the weekend. Of course, threatens to deepen divisions in the former ruling party than bring about unity.
This is Mwamba, the Deco Queen. She turns spaces from mayo to wow. She could fly to China for new products, but why pick jet lag when you've got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card? No flights, no visas, just browse, pay, done. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. Simple. Be like Mwamba. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Meet Mundia. He ditched the 9 to 5 to build his brand. And yeah, he's crushing it. With the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, he's not just buying ad space, he's building hype. He pays for ads the same way he sells most of his shoes. Online, fast, and always on. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. The Airtel Money Global Pay Card, that's what keeps it moving. Be like Mundia. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section.
Meet Suilanji, curious, creative, always learning. New skills, global trends, she's in on it. Design or tech, she's exploring the best international options. And with the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, paying is the easy part. One quick tap and she's learning from the best. No stress, no visa, no problem. Even her parents are getting in on it. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date, and that's it. Be like Suilanji. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
After a long day of spreadsheets, traffic, and people saying circle back, Twambo just wants to stream his favorite show. But of course, his subscription expired. Good thing he's got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card for his global subscriptions. One tap and he's back in business. No panic, no drama. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. Show back on. Subscription paid. Couch life activated. Be like Twambo. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Some kids are just a step ahead. The winning difference? A spoonful of Blue Band. The only one with the...
This is Mwamba, the Deco Queen. She turns spaces from Mayo to wow. She could fly to China for new products, but why pick jet lag when you've got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card? No flights, no visas, just browse, pay, done. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. Simple. Be like Mwamba. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Meet Mundia. He ditched the 9 to 5 to build his brand. And yeah, he's crushing it. With the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, he's not just buying ad space, he's building hype. He pays for ads the same way he sells most of his shoes. Online, fast, and always on. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. The Airtel Money Global Pay Card, that's what keeps it moving. Be like Mundia. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section.
Meet Suilanji, curious, creative, always learning. New skills, global trends, she's in on it. Design or tech, she's exploring the best international options. And with the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, paying is the easy part. One quick tap and she's learning from the best. No stress, no visa, no problem. Even her parents are getting in on it. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date, and that's it. Be like Suilanji. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
After a long day of spreadsheets, traffic, and people saying circle back, Twambo just wants to stream his favorite show. But of course, his subscription expired. Good thing he's got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card for his global subscriptions. One tap and he's back in business. No panic, no drama. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. Show back on. Subscription paid. Couch life activated. Be like Twambo. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
All right. We want to take one or two calls. We want to get to hear from you. If possible, directors, maybe give us some time to read through your messages as well. But first and foremost, the calls please, even as you're calling in, we kindly remind you yet again that you have to reduce the volume on your television set. Begin with your name, where you're calling us from. Then you can go ahead with your contribution. The contribution must be within a minute, 30 seconds. There are so many people trying to call in, so you do well to simply go straight to the point, beginning with your name, where you are calling us from, and then, of course, you go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, are you getting me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, I wouldn't support the PF voice of Lusaka. Yes, I don't want to support PF because PF is a violent party. But I think if Calava can solve his pride and join other guys, I think we can support. But to ask you, you haven't talked about Taringa. What project Taringa is what the keys of PF. You haven't talked much about
Gordon Voice, thank you so much for reaching out. I'm sure that hopefully we could even give this story more attention even tomorrow as well, being something that is also very, very prominent. Yes, Chef Daybreak.
This is one person from Congo. One from Congo. Malala and the president it doesn't get where I come from. And now Sampa is a failure. So what you need is just bring confusion each time and every time. You know, when I yesterday, when it's making PF convention, you know, some of these things you should even change yourself. You see, now Sampa has brought a lot of confusion. Even is the one who even makes him to fail. Because if I look at Sampa, it's a problem. How the time is going to operate to him? Yes, talk of some I have stated there about 10 months of the brand. These two are suitable. And I would like to advise our former president for PF, given to humble himself and to come on to be rescued. Of course, he's a politician and he's a and if he does that, I think we can go well. I'm telling you, with the influence of Ujinka and Kanduru also and Mumbitini, I'm sure even the president himself, he can't sleep today when he saw that you can form this stuff. Thank you. That is my petition, sir.
Thank you for reaching out. The number to call remains on the screen: 07764 09840 07764 09840.
Good morning.
Good morning, Albert.
Daybreak. Albert, the community governance expert. I think for me, UPND is on top. Yes, some of the things I agree, they haven't done wrong. But at the president, he has shown us a lot of commitment, a lot of hard work that he can do better. Even if it's given another chance or opportunity to work very hard so that he can be voted in power on August 13, 2026. Or what I can just tell you, UPND, they should choose the best MPs. Some of the things which are talked about the opposition, yes, if they took their house in order to come up with one of the best presidents, I think they can do better, but they cannot win with so far so good we can be doing time. What I can just wish is I wish them all the best, the opposition and the ruling party, because sooner or later they are going into election. Thank you so much. Good day. We enjoy the program. Bye.
Thank you, Alvid, for calling through. Let's see if we can take one more caller and then call it a day. There's so much to look forward to even in the course of the week, even as we're wrapping up the month of March, the first quarter of 2026 as well. 07764098840 is the number to call. You will be through to the People's Show Daybreak, and just a reminder that Daybreak comes your way.
Good morning, panel.
Good morning.
Kifunze kwa wasalinga nga twanafika resign mu PF, it means ishwa kusina flow, so kati baenda mu party nangu ako makazi kamba kiwa twakaliba bakaina na mpambo PF ifuna bandani wani yanke ko ba shingogo tini why branch, so if you understand between wasalinga pamene ba tabula kamba resign na PF ilibwanja pamanje situation kama kwambi.
Thank you so much. We hold the phone lines on that particular note. We appreciate the fact that that last caller also spoke in the language that they're comfortable in. It's one Zambia, one nation. We accommodate also each and every dialect. We hold the phone lines, directors. Let's hold the phone lines. Thank you so much. Paul, I'm sure you could be able to respond to that particular question about Chawenga. People asking to say they need clarity. If at all, of course, he's still with the Patriotic Front, what is happening, especially what happened last week with him in the UPND, as you give your concluding remarks, and then Naomi will take us home.
Yeah, Honorable Chawenga has not resigned from the Patriotic Front. Just for the record, he has not resigned from the Patriotic Front. He has partnered with the UPND. He's into an alliance. The same way Winter Kabimba of EF has entered into an alliance with the UPND. Winter has not resigned from EF. The same way Charles Miropi, the same way Felix Mtati, the same thing like Nevas Mumba with the party that I felt I always the New Nation Party. He has not resigned from the New Nation Party, just partnered with the UPND. And Honorable Chawenga is equally with his PF, not resigned from the PF, but partnered officially, and even said we are partners in development. So he has not crossed the floor; he has simply partnered with the UPND. But when we get to May, people like Sunday Chand have already indicated that they've joined the UPND after the dissolution of Parliament. He put up a statement over the weekend that he has officially joined the UPND and just waiting for the dissolution of Parliament. And he gave reasons why he has officially joined the UPND. So we can clearly, at least for now, we can tell that after May, Sunday Chanda is not PF. It was anyway visible from way back. We said it here. And come May, we are going to see quite a number of them going the same route. So real politics starts 13th of May 2026.
Absolutely. Atinjoka sienda na mwana. We shall begin to see that. Just a few messages before we wrap up. Pesi Chama says, only one trophy. Okay, Pesi. Reynolds still on the issue of Airtel data not being addressed. Of course, is speaking into how it's been a bit cumbersome on his end. We'll be able to speak into this. But then he says, even now, what is going on, Paul? I think you are restrained on your analysis. Where are you? Joseph says, we're no longer praisers. A song to Paul, to the opposition party. You keep being in the opposition, boss. Joseph Daka, what will happen to Chifumu Banda now? Paul, you're very intelligent. That's from Wana. We appreciate your analysis. We need people like you. Let's hope these politicians have time to listen to such programs. From Hope Kakoma. Bernard also in the comment section. Bernard, good morning. Usually when someone says if there wasn't cyber laws in the country, I would have said it may mean that such a person is not guided by responsible talk. Otherwise, saying that there is no freedom today in the country has been short-minded because it is not true. Christopher in the comment section as well. Purity, Logics, Stan, Ruben, Joseph, Patience, Eugene, Chinga, Joseph, Mambo, Nkana MP called a work colleague in Parliament, Umwana Wandoshi. Is that hate speech? Question there. Pumolo as well. Real Black Bull, we do see you. Daniel, Joseph, Collard, James, and Showman, and everybody who's been able to send through their messages this particular morning. We keep saying how even when we close the curtains, the conversations do not stop from there. Keep the conversations flowing. John Mark.
Indeed. Thank you so much for your contributions. We appreciate, and we'll continue deliberations tomorrow, same time from 7:30 up until 9:30. This has been the first edition of the week, and of course,
this is Mwamba,
Good morning.
This is Mwamba, the Deco Queen. She turns spaces from mayo to wow. She could fly to China for new products, but why pick jet lag when you've got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card? No flights, no visas, just browse, pay, done. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your Global Pay Card details, CVV, and expiry date. Simple. Be like Mwamba. Get your Global Pay Card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Meet Mundia. He ditched the 9 to 5 to build his brand. And yeah, he's crushing it. With the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, he's not just buying ad space, he's building hype. He pays for ads the same way he sells most of his shoes. Online, fast, and always on. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your Global Pay Card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. The Airtel Money Global Pay Card, that's what keeps it moving. Be like Mundia. Get your Global Pay Card in the Airtel Money section.
Meet Suilanji, curious, creative, always learning. New skills, global trends, she's in on it. Design or tech, she's exploring the best international options. And with the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, paying is the easy part. One quick tap and she's learning from the best. No stress, no visa, no problem. Even her parents are getting in on it. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your Global Pay Card details, CVV, and expiry date, and that's it. Be like Suilanji. Get your Global Pay Card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
After a long day of spreadsheets, traffic, and people saying circle back, Twambo just wants to stream his favorite show. But of course, his subscription expired. Good thing he's got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card for his global subscriptions. One tap and he's back in business. No panic, no drama. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your Global Pay Card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. Show back on. Subscription paid. Couch life activated. Be like Twambo. Get your Global Pay Card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.